Hey, this is weather forecaster Liam. It's Monday, June 10th, and in this video, we are going to be taking a look at who could be seeing 110-degree temperatures, next chance for severe storms, and future rainfall amounts. It's all coming up on T.R.A. weather. If you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe to my channel T.R.A. weather. Thank you. Enjoy the video. Alright, before we get to your temperature and rainfall outlooks, I wanted to give you guys a quick look at the U.S. Drought Monitor. And this was last updated June 4th. And the reason why that is because drought monitors don't typically update every day. It's usually every 5 to 7 days. And the reason why that is because droughts typically don't change very quickly. So that's the reason for that. But as you can see, as we look on this U.S. Drought Monitor, not showing too much drought across the United States, which is a good thing. We do have a little bit of severe drought and moderate drought across northern Florida, most of Georgia, most of South Carolina, and some parts of North Carolina, and a little bit of abnormally dry in Tennessee. Not too much there. And there's an S over this, which means short term, typically less than 6 months. We just got a lot of rain in the southeast, so I really see this drought going away. I wouldn't be surprised if all of the severe drought is gone and the moderate drought has severely decreased. And as we take a look at the rest of the United States, we have a moderate drought in northern North Dakota. That's not too much, and it's expected to be a short-term drought. I think it will be. And we also have a moderate drought in northwestern New Mexico and northeastern Arizona. Now, that has an L over it, which means possibly a long-term drought. And I think that is the case. We'll take a look at the future rainfall amounts in a second. And up here in the northwest, Washington State, northern Idaho, northwestern Montana, and northwestern Oregon, we can see some drought. In fact, severe drought in western Washington State. And most of Washington State is under a moderate drought. And that has an S and an L over it, which means some parts may get better and some parts may get worse. I honestly see this drought moving south, mainly towards Oregon, and I can see California maybe getting into a moderate drought as well. Let's take a look at our future temperature outlook. Alright, here are your 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlooks from the Climate Prediction Center. As you can see, we have quite a big bullseye of blue across Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Indiana. Those are below average temperatures, and those extend across North Dakota, Colorado, western North Carolina, all the way up to Maine. But as you can see on the western half of the United States, about the entire western half of the United States is going to be above average, especially across Washington State, western Idaho, the entire state of Oregon, northern California, and northern Nevada. Also, the places above average are across southern Texas, southern Louisiana, and southern and central Florida. And the areas in the white are about at average for this time of the season. As we go to our 8 to 14 day temperature outlooks, so you can see not too much changes. The area of below normal temperatures gets a little more spread out. In the western half of the United States, temperatures get a little cooler. Not by too much though at all. Not really enough to make a big difference. And areas across Texas, Louisiana, and Florida get much warmer. And the southeast gets a little warmer than it was before. So on week 2, the temperatures may be a little warmer, but again, not too much to make a difference. So hot in the west, warm in the south and southeast, and average to below average for the rest of the United States for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Let's take a look at the exact high temperatures for the next 2 days. Here are your high temperatures for Tuesday. As you can see in the northeast, we have temperatures in the upper 70s and possibly even in the upper 50s in some parts of Maine, and some nice comfortable low 60s in some parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and New York. And we have in the southeast, we have temperatures in the upper 70s to upper 80s. The 90s you'll find only in some parts of Florida. As we go to the Midwest and central parts of the United States, we have some locations around mid-80s, maybe squeezing out a few 90s in southern Texas, but the rest of the locations in the Midwest and central parts of the United States and northern parts too are in the mid 70s to mid 60s. May squeeze out a 50 or so in western Iowa and maybe some parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, but those will be isolated. And as we go to the western part of the United States, we are very warm. The hottest parts are in Arizona, in California, Oregon, and Washington State. We have some very warm temperatures, 107, 103, 103 again, 99, 98. You get the picture. Very hot. And as we go to Wednesday's high temperatures, here we go. And this is for the eastern half of the United States. The way these models do their forecasting, it's a few hours off. So the eastern half of the United States is what we're looking at here, not the western half. A much cooler day for the eastern half of the United States, at least in the southeast. We have some upper 50s and low 60s, but right next door in Alabama, it's 88 degrees. So if you go to eastern Georgia, we have 63 degrees. Eastern Alabama, we got 78. So a very sharp change in temperatures for those areas. And about the same temperature in Florida, across Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. We go to the northeast, quite a bit warmer. We had 59 degrees in Maine as a high for Tuesday, and this is Wednesday, and the high is 75. Much different and warmer. That's along with Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, and Pennsylvania as well. And the Midwest is looking a little cooler, about the same as Tuesday, upper 50s to upper 60s, maybe squeezing in a 70 here and there. And as I switch it over real quick to the western half of the United States, all right, there we go. Now in the west, we have temperatures of reading 113, 108, 107. Thankfully, that's in the desert. But as we go to more populated areas, 103, 102, 88, 93, and a little warmer across Washington State and Oregon and Idaho and also Nevada. So I wouldn't be surprised if some heat warnings or advisories come out. Now, I was talking about the drought monitor before. Let's go to the future rainfall amounts. There we go. This is all the way to Monday afternoon of next week. So this is the entire week rainfall amounts. As you can see, we have quite a bit in the northeast and midwest. I can find some areas in northern Indiana of almost 4.5 inches, some parts in southeastern Michigan of over 4.5 inches, and that stretches across all the way to New York State, also some parts of Illinois as well. We also have about 3 inches in some parts of Missouri, still 3 inches in southern Illinois, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia. I mean, the entire east is pretty much got some sort of rainfall, except maybe some portions of Louisiana and Mississippi. Other than that, it looks like everybody in the east will be seeing at least some sort of precipitation. So that's good, and that will help the drought definitely down here in South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina. As we go to the central part of the United States, we have Texas of some isolated spots of 2 inches, almost of 3.5 inches, over 3.5 inches, and about 3 inches in some parts of Kansas. Those will mainly be from pop-up thunderstorms. That'll probably change as the days go on. And now we can see in Arizona, not really much rain at all for southwestern Arizona and southeastern California, nor really at all for the entire state of California, just a little bit in the mountains. Besides that, really no rain at all. And when you get 100-degree temperatures and no rain for at least a week, yes, that will probably not help drought situations. We go to Oregon. We do have some rain. It's showing of some areas of a little over half an inch. But again, this is just the entire week. So a half an inch in a whole week, that's not too much. And Seattle is not really showing much rain at all. 0.11 inches, that's really nothing. So thankfully there's some rain over here, but not too much. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Washington State, Oregon, California, and Arizona, maybe some parts of Nevada too, and keep an eye on it for any drought situations. All right, let's take a look at the future radar. All right, here's the future radar for the next 2 days. And the reason why I'm only showing the eastern half of the United States is because the western half really has no rain at all. So no rain at all for the western half of the United States for at least 2 days. You might get a pocket of some rain, but nothing severe whatsoever. Okay, well, it's 9 o'clock Eastern time right now. And as you can see, we have some storms, a big squall line of storms, but they get more isolated as you go more southeast. But that first squall line of storms is in eastern New York, makes its way down towards the Atlantic Ocean, and maybe some parts of New Jersey too. But the second squall line seems a little more robust across western New York, western Pennsylvania, and Virginia. And the rest of the rain over here are basically just some pop-up thunderstorms. They might get organized in a little bit. We'll see. But again, we have some pop-up thunderstorms across North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, southeastern Alabama, and all across Florida. As again, the time will be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Let's go to Tuesday at around 5 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so these storms make their way east. They eventually dissipate or go offshore. That first squall line is still alive slightly, but it's definitely not as strong as it used to be. Just got some thunderstorms across eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, southeastern New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. And as we go to Tuesday afternoon, you can see not too much besides some rain in Maine. We have the storms offshore. We have a low pressure system that develops in eastern South Dakota. Some rain up here. Other than that, not too much. Let's go to Tuesday night right now. We can see some activity in southeastern Georgia, maybe some parts of South Carolina and northern Florida again on that. Maybe some pop-up thunderstorms. One or two of those may be severe. Not seeing too much in tornadic activity though. But as we go up here towards Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Minnesota, we do have some thunderstorms that pop up. Those may be severe. May get a quick spin-up tornado. Some hail, damage, and winds are possible as well. Let's go to about midnight Tuesday. Those thunderstorms, they may be strong at first, but they do not last long. We still have the low pressure system over southern Minnesota right now, and that's just bringing some normal rain with it. And those pop-up thunderstorms in southern Georgia, some parts of South Carolina and northern Florida aren't really there anymore. Mainly off the coast, may begin one or two still left, but not very much. Let's go to Wednesday afternoon now. As you can see, some storms start popping up off the coast of North Carolina and South Carolina, make their way inland, and may bring some rain. Again, not very severe, but may get a rumble of thunder. And we can see a line try to develop with this low pressure system. It's having some trouble. It may get one or two cells successfully into a thunderstorm, but again, not too severe across the United States right now. Let's go forward one more time to late Wednesday night. Again, that line is trying to get going, definitely struggling. And that rain was in North Carolina and South Carolina, is making its way northward into Virginia and maybe other parts of the Northeast, such as Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We may also have a line that develops ahead of it that may bring some rain to Ohio and eastern Kentucky. But thankfully, nothing severe for the next 2 to 3 days. Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, T.R.A. Weather. Thank you. See you next time.